I'm only going to say a few words because this evening's not about me. It's about the Inlaks Foundation, and it's about the people that they've supported and funded for many, many years. Some of you may have already been into the halls and seen the work of the alumni, and some of you may have also seen here the work of the latest awardees. So I'm going to leave it to Amita and Manisha to start the evening off, and after the artists have been introduced, we hope you'll join us for a glass of wine and a snack just outside here. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Fine Arts Award presentation. We're delighted to be here in Delhi at the India Art Fair amidst the art community, our alumni and well-wishers. Our heartfelt thanks to the India Art Fair team for making this participation a reality. This is the first time the foundation has actually showcased the artworks of some of its awardees at an exhibition. Most of these artists are emerging talents who deserve a chance to be seen. There were many more we would have loved to display but could not due to limitations of space. A bit about the award. The Inlaks Fine Art Award is one of the most coveted for emerging artists in the country. It is usually presented to 5 young artists, all of whom have recently graduated from Indian art colleges. The awardees receive financial support from the foundation through the year, and in addition have the opportunity to attend a month-long residency in India. This year's talented artists have been chosen by an eminent jury comprising Shilpa Gupta, Mortimer Chatterjee, and Jaideep Mehrotra. I'm delighted that Mortimer and Jaideep are with us this evening. Shilpa had a series of workshops at the Biennale, so she couldn't be here today. Our flourishing arts program would not be what it is today without the vision of our chairman, Azad Shivdasani. It is under his guidance that we were able to identify the growing needs of art practitioners, like the need for short-term residencies and curatorial programs. Azad regretfully could not be with us today. However, he sends his best wishes to all, especially the 4 awardees. Helping us realize our chairman's vision has been Mortimer, who is the co-founder of Chatterjee and Lal Gallery in Mumbai. Over our years of association with him, Mortimer has proven to be a wonderfully steadfast supporter with a discerning eye for artistic talent. Mort is the curator of our exhibition at the IAF, and I would urge you all to view the show, which is spread over 3 locations, booth IO1, the forum wall, which is just outside here, and we have video screenings in the food court. For those of you who would like to know some more about the foundation, Inlaks is known primarily as a scholarship awarding institution. This is still its major role in the recognized academic subjects, though it is also known as one of the foremost institutions to provide scholarships in the field of art and sculpture. In fact, since 1982, when Rekha Rudvitia received the first art award, more than 230 artists have benefited by way of grant, scholarship, or award. The foundation's other programs in support of the arts are not so well known. Our residency program enables Indian artists to work for varying periods of time at international institutions like Gasworks and the Delphine Foundation in London. We have our collaborator with us this evening, Srila Ghosh, who's the secretary of the Charles Wallace India Trust, the Darling Foundry in Montreal, ISCP in New York, Skowhegan in the state of Maine, and the Pistoletto Foundation in Italy. The residency program is also conducted in India at institutions like One Shanti Road and Tajski in Bangalore, What About Art, Kona and Space 118 in Mumbai, Khoj in Delhi, and Sandarbh in Rajasthan. Inlaks has run a 3-year curatorial lab program with JNU's School of Art and Aesthetics. It supports curatorial studies at a leading university overseas and an international training program at the British Museum and grants museum fellowships as well. This evening, I'm pleased to say we have Professor Veer Chauhan, our trustee, with us, and he will say a few words later on. And I'm equally delighted we have the artist Manisha Parekh with us today. Manisha, an Inlaks alumna, is one of the stalwarts responsible for the Fine Art Awards, and she has given tirelessly of her time and energy into making this award a success. She will now introduce the 2019 awardees.
Thank you, Amita, and thank you, Inlaks Foundation. This is really special to be standing here. I'm honored and privileged to be here to introduce the young artists who are going to get an award. I must tell you my story with Inlaks. I have a long association with Inlaks back in 80s and 90s, where all the young artists dreamt of going and studying abroad. I think Inlaks was one such route one could take. So when I was doing my master's in MSU Baroda, I wanted to follow my seniors like Rekha Rodvetya, Vasudev Akitam, B.V. Suresh, and study further in London. The only route at that point was to apply for Inlaks scholarship to do the postgraduate course in the Royal College of Art. So I wasn't very confident, so I started early. I started applying for it as soon as I finished my graduation. I did so every year, and perhaps that was the process of building a strong body of work and learning to articulate my thoughts about my practice. It took me 3 years to convince the experts on the panel of the foundation that I could be a worthy candidate. I landed in London in October of 1991, stayed there for next 2 years, soaking in all London could offer, along with studying in RCA. I think those 2 years changed my life, challenged my practice, pushed me to evolve a personal language and to have a voice of my own. Today, I stand here to thank publicly Inlaks Foundation for believing in me, for giving that opportunity. Thank you. Okay, so I've spent last 2 days looking at the 4 chosen candidates, and I must say, as I was looking at all the visuals of Inlaks awardees, it's delightful to see this wonderful young energy coming out of these young artists, an energy which I feel almost envious of because we have it when we are young, and something changes in us as we are growing and making work. The jury, which comprises of Mortimer and Shilpa and Jaideep, they have chosen well. It's a well-balanced selection with 2 women artists and 2 men artists. So it's funny, as I was looking at the works, I felt the women, all 4 of them are dealing with spaces. The women are dealing with the interior spaces, more psychological, more playing with their mind and material perhaps, and the men are dealing with negotiating the space outside, and it's interesting how they come by. So I think we start with Arshi Irshad Ahmad Zai, who has passed out from Jamia Millia Islamia in 2013, and my question to her was, this work is done in 2018, so what did she do all these years? So she got married to a nice Afghani man and went off to Afghanistan, and these are the diary pages from Afghanistan. I think her work just pours out of her. It's like a compulsive need to draw, and I am absolutely almost amazed at which the figuration just takes its own language. It just flows out. Her work is about women, female body, and she says it's from feminist standpoint, but in conversation we already got into a discussion about whether it's feminist or feminine. Now this is something I am also thinking and defining it to myself, so maybe we should continue that conversation some other day. These are her more early works, but do go and look at her works are there at the booth. It's absolutely beautiful. There's an abundantness in her. We can now move on to Divesh Amrish Undavia, who is pursuing his Master of Visual Arts at MSU Baroda. I was his examiner for his BA, and I was stunned by the corner he had made in the middle of the floor. So he's someone who's negotiating space and himself, I think. That's what I feel. And I think he's projecting installations in the space to make you think about how you can recreate and negotiate a space. These are some of his examples. This is the corner I'm talking about. So he and I just had a chat with saying that corners are the neglected spaces, and I feel that too, and I feel particularly drawn when I'm installing my work to go to the corner and kind of embrace it and include it. Pranay Datta is also pursuing Master of Visual Arts from MSU Baroda. And his work is dealing with science fiction, gaming theory, architectural problems, and creating a kind of apocalyptic world, a surreal world in which I think there's a kind of crescendo which builds up by images just pouring into each other. He's also building a kind of a situation or landscape without any people, presence of a, it's not peopled, but it's all about communities and the presence of man. His works are in the, where is it, in the food court, yeah. And I have been watching his videos on Vimeo online. It's absolutely delightful. It's really a pleasure to see the playfulness he can kind of come up with. It's just wild. So yeah, like he traps and tames landscapes in the interior places. The fourth awardee is Sharmishta Bose from SN School, still pursuing MFA. And I got particularly drawn to the delicateness of her work. It's about material. So these are fibers with which she is making paper. And she spoke about making surfaces rather, paper as surfaces rather than waiting for the artist to make the intervention. So the surface itself becomes loaded with meaning. It becomes a material itself which is speaking to you while you're making, and I think talking to the viewer, it talks about fragility, it talks about delicateness, with its own strength of the material. So you have to believe in the material to be able to invest your faith in that fragility. If you don't have that, then you can't stand by it. So these are these bits of papers which she is making herself. And in the booth, there are these delicate papers with maybe 1 or 2 threads of, it's thread now, I don't know what material was it. Is it cane thread or Sharmishta? Cord fiber. Corn fiber. So yeah, so those lines are just like lyrical lines, almost like little poetries or haiku. And they're particularly enticing when you see it against light. So there are these series of photographs which she has taken, handheld pieces of paper. That's it. So I think we have a wonderful 4 awardees, all with different kinds of language, sensibility, commitment and dedication to making work, and I'm really looking forward to what you all are going to get out and do. So I'm going to watch out for all of you, and we should be friends. Can we have all the awardees on the stage? Yay. Big hand for our young artists. That's Divyesh, Arshi, Sharmishta, and Pranay. So we start with Arshi. Arshi, Irshad Ahmadzai. Photo op. Next is Divyesh, Amrish, Undavia. Then Pranay Datta and Sharmishta Basu. These guys are all, still in college. You don't have to blow up the money on party, okay? Yeah, that's a warning. Huh? You have to be really careful. Come. Yes. Thank you.
One more for.
Thank you. Well done. You need to proceed.
Thank you, Manisha. Thank you for that sensitive telling of their stories. Could we now have Professor Chauhan say a few words to us?
ओ भाई हम तो कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे हमारी तस्वीर नहीं खींची आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू से एनीथिंग सो अब every year at the award function I sit and watch Amita run a fantastic show, but a lot of memories swim across. And I won't take much time, but I'll begin from thanking all of you, first of all, those who came, found time to come for this function. I congratulate the 4 awardees who artists, young artists को ठंड नहीं लगती. None of them were wearing coat or sweater. So fantastic. I think there must be a lot of internal energy. So I congratulate you and I admire you for not wearing any warm clothes. I thank the jury. In fact, Mortimer and company run an amazing job each year. And I'm never ceased to surprise, it never ceases to surprise me how good selection procedures are done. So this is a very well-oiled, amazing search for young talent, and the foundation is obviously very proud of it. But I also want to very quickly run through the tree that you see, which has borne fruits, result of which you see just now. The seeds of this, actually the 2 seeds were sown. And I want to remember Beena Shivdashani, daughter of Indu Shivdasani, Indu who put up all the money initially in 1978, 79, and produced amazing scholars. This is not the time to tell you what he thought of, what he wanted, but the result of whatever he set up, and we were fortunate enough to be involved from the very beginning, is we see that we have Vice Chairman of Planning Commission as an Inlaks scholar, Dhananjay Chandrachud, who's done amazing work in recent time, is an Inlaks scholar. Many of you Inlaks. So this worked very well. But at one time, Beena Shivdasani, Vibha, my wife, was there at that time, and started talking about that Indians who've gone to America or who've gone to Royal College of Arts, etc., have done extremely well. Why should we not also start looking at the talent inside the country, especially at the time when everybody outside the world had started saying Indian talent is amazing. So we started 2 things. One was the awards in IITs, because everybody thought technology would provide our solution. And the seeds of the award, I'm going to drop that IIT business because that died anyway. The seed was shown, but the tree didn't grow. But my wife, Vibha, Manu Parekh, whom I know for many years, more than that what I can remember, but I know my wife longer than I know Manu. These 3, 4 individuals got together and said we should do Arts Award. So that's the beginning of Arts Award. The initial selection used to take place in my office, next to my office, at the International Center for Genetic Engineering, and I acted as a peon. Because these 3, 4 people will come and demand, ये आपकी machine नहीं चलती, ये slide नहीं चलती. So we used to run around and provide all the material. But the people initially who saw the Inlaks Awards were amazing. They would spend whole day, then Manisha came in, and then they would scrutinize. So suddenly we started getting from 20 to 30, then 50, then 60. So we knew this is something which is functioning extremely well. But the real energy and vibrancy of what you see today came in when Amita Malkani joined the foundation, and then everything really took off on another plane. You know, this is like log jump. And by that time, unfortunately, Beena had passed away. And Azad, who Amita mentioned, took over. And Azad has a deep interest in fine arts and music and so on. So music scholarship, art scholarship really flourished. But really, thanking Amita would be like thanking myself. So I would not bother. But without Amita, you would not have these functions. Yeah, Amita and her team in Mumbai, Mortimer, everybody, all of you. So thank you very much for organizing it, and I hope you'll keep doing it for the next 100 years. I want to very much remember Lakshmi Shivdasani, who with Indu was instrumental in putting up the initial money. That's why the Inlaks is called Indu and Lakshmi. IN comes from Indu, Laksh is from Lakshmi. Lakshmi each year would take me to the task when he said, Veer, what has happened to the young artists? Nobody's painting anything anymore. And I would then tell her, Lakshmi, at different times, but she came for every function. Amita will bear me out. In Mumbai, a couple of years back, she could hardly walk. She could hardly get out of the car. But she all dressed up and sat right in front and had a drink with all of us. And I very much, she was the continuous source of inspiration for all of us. So the whole family, unfortunately, as Amita said, Azad is not here. So I think all that is in good hands. But the future of any foundation, such as the Inlaks Foundation, is always in the hands of those who get the scholarships or those who run the scholarships. So the whole lot of people who do selections for us every year, complete labor of love. People travel from long distances, and especially because we've matured and expanded in the arts and music world. Especially those of you who are involved in this, I deeply thank you for doing this work so effortlessly, but so flawlessly and with such passion. So I could tell you many, many more stories, but I think I'd much rather have a drink with you than tell you the stories. So thank you very much once again for coming. I think Amita, Beena, Indu probably looking at us from the heavens and smiling that this year awardees are as good as they are and the function has gone as well as it has. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Veer, especially for giving us a sense of history and for remembering Lakshmi, whom we lost middle of last year. And till the age of 94, she attended each and every award event. And it was really an amazing, amazing sight to see her in her wheelchair. And she'd insist on being photographed with the awardees. And the support she gave us till the very end was really something remarkable, and thank you for remembering her. Just to wind up, just to come back to the exhibition on hand, playing an integral part in putting this exhibition and presentation together. There are two names I have to mention. One is Zoya Kathawala, without whom this wouldn't have happened. She was my right, left, both my arms, I think. She was absolutely wonderful. And Zoya, thank you for all your energy and enthusiasm. Where are you? I can't see you. Oh, okay. And the other person who needs to be recognized is Jazila Bashir, who was absolutely wonderful. She's a designer, and she designed our handouts and extremely patient with us. We'd ask her stupid questions as to what would the point size be, but she was very patient with us and took us through. She kept redesigning labels and signages for us because we weren't pleased with what was coming out. So without the energy of these two young girls, it wouldn't have happened. So thank you, both of you. And of course, now we come to the end of this evening's program, and a big, big thank you to the generosity of the India Art Fair team. Jagdeep, Uma, Louise, Jaya, Saurabh, and the rest of the team, thank you so much for making this happen. Thank you.